Welcome to NextLevel Mediation. This 17-minute video will demonstrate the basic features of the system. This is a summary of the fact pattern of the dispute. We will create a basic mediation because all we know at this point is that an employee, Jane Doe, alleges she was passed over for a promotion to plant manager at Acme Corporation due to race and age discrimination. Give the mediation a name and initial description, the category of the dispute, and any terms and conditions for the client to sign. All of this information can be edited later on, once we have known more about the dispute details. Now add the clients and their attorney representatives. Clients can be individuals or corporations. If they are corporations, they will be represented by an attorney. Let's add the clients in the second party, Acme Corporation, and their attorney. Click Create and the mediation is created. Let's find out more details about the dispute. We now have a basic structure for our mediation, and it is time for clients and the mediator, J, to upload some documents that can detail the dispute. Once documents have been uploaded, we can use the AI research assistant to query key information. For example, we can ask it to summarize the dispute or see if there is a reason to believe that Jane Doe's rights have been violated. We asked the research assistant to summarize the document in 3 sentences so we could get a better idea of its contents. The research assistant tells us that Jane Doe, a 45-year-old African-American woman with over 20 years of experience in the manufacturing industry, alleges race and age discrimination after being passed over for a plant manager promotion at Acme Corporation in favor of a less experienced white male. It also displays the citation in which the information was found. The second question was focused on whether or not there was reason to believe that Jane Doe's rights were violated. Let's build some questionnaires to get a better understanding of the dispute, by creating questionnaires for each side to answer. Then we will edit the mediation by updating the description, adding questionnaires and models to understand the priorities of Jane and Ernesta in resolving the dispute. Creating a questionnaire for Jane Doe, using the AI assistant, is easy. We select a category, give it a unique name, and then open the AI assistant. In the context area, we will paste the description of the dispute. Then, we will let the system know that the questions are for Jane Doe, and we will select the type of ADR. This can take a few seconds if the AI models are busy. After reviewing the suggested questions, the mediator can select those that are most relevant to the case. Remember, the mediator is always in charge. Only the mediator can view the results of the AI assistant. Now, we will edit the mediation to update the description and questionnaires, as well as priority models. These models are used to determine client priorities. At this point, we will add the questionnaire we built for Jane Doe to answer. Then, we add the priority model to determine Jane Doe's actual priorities for this dispute. The model lists Jane's basic objectives. Jane's basic objectives in resolving the dispute were to secure back pay, get an apology from management, secure damages for stress, and be awarded a plant manager position. Now add the questionnaires and priority model for the Acme Corporation. Now, we are ready to capture client inputs for the questionnaires and priority models. Once the respective parties have completed the questionnaires and priority assessments, we will use the AI assistant to assist in analyzing the results. Open the AI assistant and ask it to review the answers to the questions and try to draw some conclusions. Conclusions gathered from the AI assistant are not a replacement for the mediator's skills or experience. They only provide a helpful guide for further discussion with the parties. While the AI assistant's conclusions are somewhat generic, they do a good job of listing the underlying issues in the dispute. We will query the answers to the questions and see if there are any suggestions for areas of negotiation. Again, these are only suggestions from the AI assistant to help the mediator. Since the AI assistant also has access to the uploaded business insurance policy, we can also ask if the policy has a limitation on compensatory damage. By applying the Analytic Hierarchy Process (AHP), the parties have completed their priority assessments through pairwise comparisons of objectives in their respective models. This quantitative approach allows for the calculation of objective weights. Now, we open the AI assistant and ask for possible suggestions for resolving the dispute based on the context of the dispute and analysis of the parties' actual priorities. It looks like the system found some common grounds and points of divergence. In addition, there seem to be some areas for possible compromise. The system is now suggesting some ideas for the mediator to discuss with the parties. It is the mediator's responsibility to decide which idea might work or how they might be altered to better fit the situation. After discussion with both sides and the collection of key client data, it is time to set up a negotiation on any agreed-upon items. The first thing to do is set up a negotiation agenda to identify the participants in the online negotiation. Since we always have access to each party's priorities as well as the AI assistant's suggested items, we will add Jane Doe's top priority of securing back pay. The system lets the mediator control which items are currently active to negotiate and whether or not the mediator is directly involved. Direct involvement means reviewing each proposal and counterproposal to ensure the negotiation remains on track. Once the mediation agenda has been made active, the parties can start negotiating, as well as optionally provide target and reservation values to the mediator. Jane Doe and her attorney make the first proposal on the back pay item. Since the mediator is directly involved, it's reviewed before shared with the other side. Ernest and Acme make a counter-proposal. The mediator or facilitator reviews an audit trail of proposals and counter-proposals to help manage the direction of negotiations. The mediator decides that the counter-proposal is good and shares it with Jane Doe and attorney. The mediator reviews the first offers. Now the bargaining begins. Jane Doe and attorney counterproposed a back pay of $25,000 that is now being reviewed by the mediator. The negotiation continues until the parties reach agreement on the active item. Ernest and Acme counter with $8,500 as they attempt to minimize immediate payouts. However, in the terms, they propose $4,000 to cover attorney fees and guarantee a plant manager position. If the negotiation stalls or goes in the wrong direction, the mediator can directly interact with the parties through the built-in text messaging system. The built-in analytics help the mediator as well as aid the parties during the back and forth of negotiation. Viewing the negotiation from Jane Doe's screen, we can see the distance between the two parties as they start round 3 of the bargaining process. Switching back to the mediator's screen, we can see the percent change in each proposal as well as the time since the last proposal. Jane Doe now proposes to keep the back pay at $25,000 but counters $12,000 for attorney fees and a slight increase in salary for a potential plant manager position. The mediator reviews the details of the proposed changes before sharing with the other side. At this point, Ernest and ACME counter with $15,000 in back pay and $10,000 in attorney fees. An additional $5,000 for pain and suffering has also been added. Round 4 of the negotiation begins as we switch back to Jane Doe's view of the negotiation. Jane Doe makes a slight modification to the pain and suffering but does not alter the rest of the proposal. The mediator reviews the counter-proposal and decides that is moving in the right direction and decides to share it with the other side. Switching to ACME and Ernest's screen, the counter by Jane Doe is carefully reviewed. In general, the offer looks reasonable. However, ACME is limited by the insurance policy to $5,000 in compensatory damages. Jane Doe and attorney agree to final offer from ACME and Ernest.